we let me pull together a thought that we were just talking about your leadership. You lead quicker by walking slower. And I want you to really think about that. And let me tell you, that is original. We Michael and I put that together just today for you, both having some dynamic thinking about what leadership is. And I want you to really think about that, because oftentimes we are in a rush at the world in which faces us. And when we think much more long term, so I was saying, if you're thinking over a 10-year period, when you're looking at your world, I did this once with an organization I worked with. I said, we're going to commit to go and help these people in a third world country for 10 years.
Yeah.
It freaked everybody out. And after the first 5 years, we thought, yeah, we're doing pretty good. We probably can do another 5 years. And now it's 13 years going to that same location.
Wow.
And the influence and the effect is phenomenal. And it goes by rapidly enough.
Yes.
That kind of time span. But what we often think about is 90 days, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, financial year, calendar year, in next quarter, next BAS, next reporting system, et cetera, et cetera. And we are, at times get forced into the short term, and whereas I'm challenging you, if you as a leader and as an influencer, to think much longer term and take your time in how you engage. Because
when you're saying take your time, do you find this happens with the interactions with the staff at work? There's relationships between the people at work. You've got to encourage the people who work around you to also have this patience with other people.
Oh, absolutely. So let's pick up one of the other themes of leadership, which is to guide people's relationships with one another. So when we do this measure, we're actually asking that question. How do people interact? So we talked about you, we talked about leadership, we talked about you as a leader and how you influence, and we're talking about then the people you then influence, but we also want them to get the message.
Yeah.
And we want to guide them in their own interactions, both vertically and horizontally, and the circle of influence that they have within the organization and without or outside the organization, because they will bring that to influence when they come to work and when they engage with you in whatever form. And so you've got to really think through, and that's why when we talked earlier about the values that you have, the values that people have, the values that the business has, the values that they bring in, and oftentimes we talk about that as being the baggage that people carry.
Yeah.
It's their value systems.
Yeah. I know that, I'm being ex-military. My values, they're a control mechanism. And, and a lot of religious groups around the world, they have values to control people's behavior. Not in a negative way. They're saying, these are the values. And in business, I think it's a great lesson. These are the values, because this is how we want you to behave. Not just between me and you, but with the rest of the staff, with the suppliers, with the customers. We want the world for us to become famous for being like this.
Oh, absolutely.
And you often talk about the men in the blue t-shirts that love to serve you.
Oh, absolutely. It's outstanding, and that's why they're one of the largest companies in the world and growing rapidly. So I know the power of doing that is when you help your people to succeed, you succeed more than you imagine you can succeed. So we know from benchmarking financially, and I've done this with a number of companies, we get the benchmark of their business, and when you look at what the owner can do and what the staff can do, it's often 2 to 3 times more what your staff can do and what you can do when you benchmark finances of the organization. And I think sometimes our business owners don't understand, by guiding your people and putting into your people, training them, skilling them, empowering them, spending time with them, casting vision with them, showing them the details of the mission of the business and the values of the business, the strategic, it's not necessarily all the strategic details, but giving them a strategic direction. This is where we're going, this is why we're going, and empowering them to be aware of that. You get this from them, they get equity in the business. You've not given it to them, they haven't bought shares, but they gain equity in the business when you spend this time guiding them to actually understand how they interact, and helping them and upskill them and being aware that they can lead. What we don't understand is that everybody's a leader.
So this is where you start now talking about the relationship between one another.
Absolutely.
You want them all to be leaders.
Absolutely.
Is this when we, because some people go, well, why did they go on that, out for lunch or out to dinner together? Why did they go on that team bonding? It's not just an exercise, it's to get the relationships between each other, but to teach them how to lead and encourage and support each other in the different functions.
Absolutely. I'm so proud of my boys and the way they lead their own business. This year, I think they're doing a golf day together, and it's a male environment. So these are tradies. In Australia, we call them tradies. That's the guys that are...
Tradesmen.
It's our language. So they're all going out, and it's deliberately. So the two owners, my two sons, can guide the rest of the team. This is who we are. This is what we're about. These are the values that we have. This is what I'm expecting from you. And you can have those one-on-one conversations of influence, and it deals with a whole bunch of frustrations, because you take the relationship to the next level, because it's more than just employer-employee. It's more than employer-salary. It's much more than that. It's empowering people that we want this business to do this, to help these, and everybody involved, the business owners, the staff, the clients, the stakeholders, the suppliers, and any other dynamics, everybody lifts, because the leader has understood, I influence me, I'm the first person, I influence people, I'm going to lift them up, they're going to do better, and I'm going to help them see their possibilities of the invisible and bring it into the present, so they can get a hold of that, and I can guide them of how they can replicate. So here's the dynamic. When you do this kind of process, you multiply yourself into these people, and they step up and stand up, and they outshine you, and you think, that's okay, because I'm okay.
Yeah, I remember when doing martial arts, and I said to my instructor, so I got my first Dan black belt, how do I get my second? And he said, is that new kid that just started? I said, yeah. He said, turn him into a black belt and I'll consider it.
Wow, what a challenge. What a challenge.
That was the toughest second Dan I ever.
Yes.
But what a learning curve.
What were you trying to do is he was trying to help you see how you replicate. He's replicated how you replicate, how you multiply your effectiveness.
Exactly.
So if you've got only one of you in a business, it's tough to replicate. If you've got 10, just imagine if you can lift them at different levels, the multiplication factor is now 10 times you. Or 11 times you.
And that's what happens in dojos. You have a look.
Absolutely.
You've got all these different coloured belts at all different levels, teaching the ones below, replicating the training system so they all come through. The values are the same, the techniques are the same, the quality is the same, and they're lifting. As you know, one person on the front of a dojo mat has got no chance of teaching 30, 40, especially when they're young kids.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You need a team.
Yes.
And when you see how they do it, you go, wow. And it's controlled by that number one thing you said at the beginning, the value of being here.
Absolutely. So we want you to really think about leadership. Start with yourself and get a real handle on that. Re-listen to what I've been sharing with you today. Think about it and ask yourself, okay, what will be my plan? Do I need to do a profile? Do I need to do Strength Finder? And there's lots of real good resources, and I am your resource. That's why we're doing that.
Exactly.
And get in contact with me. Don't be backward in coming forward, because I want to help you climb the mountain so you can see the view. That's my passion, motivation, and desire. That's why I'm continuing on in this whole wonderful dynamic that we're doing in the studio every week, giving you really good content, dynamics to think about. And it's just a delight to be again with you, talking through these whole dynamics of leadership is influence, and it can change your world and change your business. And if you'd like to get in contact with us, please do that. In Australia, it's 0413 286 774, and it's john@peakconsultancy.com.au, or
or you can write in like Salvatore did.
Yes, like Salvatore did.
You can write into admin@101mediagroup.com.au. The contact form's on the website. And yeah, send in your questions, send in your ideas. Interact with us because we love to do
absolutely. We want to do that. And we want to continue to help you become the dynamic leaders, entrepreneurs, influencers that you are in the world. Thank you so much for being with us again today.